right. All right. Another experimental Couch Command podcast. With me today, I have Isaac from Lobster Magnet Reviews.
Hey, thanks for having me.
All right. And then also have with me MJ.
Greetings, salutations. Thanks for having me back.
All right. We're doing a little quick podcast. We just want to talk about quickly, like, Ahsoka, his hit, and what we think about it. And this won't be another 3-hour podcast. We're going to try to keep it under an hour and just, what we thought of it. So, Isaac, what are your thoughts?
I'm surprised you're wanting to go for me first. I think, but since you invited me, I will audition. I do not like it. I want to like it. I think so far it's a misfire. As of right now, I'm Team Chudiverse on Ahsoka. I really, really want it to be good, but I don't know what the hell's going on. Rosario Dawson's a very talented actress. I don't know why she feels so stiff as Ahsoka, and just kind of like stoic. I looked this up. Like, when the hell was Sabine Wren like force sensitive? Isn't her whole shtick being a Mandalorian? When was she Ahsoka's apprentice? Like when was this ever a thing? Weren't they like not really related? And it's like this kind of like lesbian lover dynamic. When they're the right one, you'll know. That's the energy I got from it.
No, there's a little bit of that. There's definitely a little bit of that. Like, you guys.
I don't know about that, but yeah. No, sorry. Go ahead, Isaac. Sorry.
It's like I'm trying so hard to like this. The production design is very nice. It seems like it doesn't look as cheap as like Obi-Wan did, but at the same time. I mean, I don't think it's the worst we've seen from Disney Star Wars, but like at this point where the Disney Star Wars is like a fighter that's kind of punch drunk, I feel like you want to come stronger out of the gate. Dave Filoni, this was your opportunity. This is like the thing that you made for. This was like to show your skills that you could transition from the cartoon world to like get into the live action, because as someone pointed out, live action means this story and these characters are deserved for the widest possible consumption. I'm sorry, animation fans, that's just how it is. That's just how we perceive things. The highest authority is when it's in live action.
But Dave's been in live action with The Mandalorian for quite a while, all 3 seasons. So
that even like confuses me more. Like, I feel like Dave's had like stronger Mandalorian episodes than this. What is going on? Why does this have like Spider-Man Lotus fan film energy from like pretty good talent? It also has like a lot of tropes that I've come to hate from the Disney era of Star Wars. Why does you have to find a map to find the military general? Why are we going on Indiana Jones McMahon hunt to find like military leaders? Where you have to go into like secret.
You're saying it looks like this? You're saying it looks like this? Come on now! Like,
I heard whispers about
I don't know about this.
Lotus.
No, I don't think it looks like that, but I think some of the performances from Rosario Dawson and whoever's playing Sabine, and even Hera, it kind of reminded me of that kind of like film fan level of talent.
I can't help but want to go next. MJ, you go next. What do you think? I did not expect this at all, Isaac.
I guess I'm a little more centrist and trying to be more of the realist with it, and I'm enjoying it so far because it's. I was a fan of Clone Wars and Rebels. It's great seeing these characters on screen. I'm still kind of trying to figure out if I really like some of their live action interpretations. The production value is great. The music is oddly, persistently stoic and almost foreboding, and I'm trying to figure out how that really fits in, because that doesn't even fit in at all with the vibe coming out of Rebels. That was never the vibe in any part of Rebels. But yeah, I'm trying to figure out if I really like the Rosario Dawson iteration of Ahsoka, because she's almost too stoic and galaxy weary for me. Almost like Snips is completely dead, and if you've seen Clone Wars or Rebels or Clone Wars, you understand who Snips is. But
real quick on that one. Real quick,
more,
because like people keep on bringing up her being stoic now. Like she's post Return of the Jedi. Like she's seen a lot of shit by this point in time. She is one of the things that hurts me the most. That I still don't believe Anakin would have done it. But like, yeah, she's faced Anakin, and it almost looked like Anakin was going to kill her, and I'm sure that might have shaken her. I know Anakin would not have done that, but yeah, she's seen a lot.
Anakin was dead. It was Vader. Remember?
I don't think that Anakin would do it. That bothered me so much.
Right. But anyway, basically, Ahsoka is Rebels season 5 in live action. Anybody who says otherwise is not paying attention. And I know plenty of other people, aside from you, Isaac, who refuse to watch the animation. I don't know if it's just because you don't prefer animation, but they refuse to watch animation because they don't think, and I quote, that it should be canon, which is not ridiculous. And I'm laughing all the way to the bank when they've been watching all of Mandalorian and all these other shows, and all this stuff from Rebels and Clone Wars keeps popping up, and they're like, what's going on with that? I'm like, I have to explain. But anyway, it'd be interesting to see where it goes. The new Disney persistence on trying to justify the sequel trilogy in increments here and there in the last 3 years is kind of wearing at me a little bit, but I'll give it a chance with this and see what they could possibly do with it, but we'll see.
All right. Then my take is I liked it a lot. Surprise. Yeah. So like going into it, all female cast. It of course once again like I've even thought of a spiel so that I can cover myself from saying I don't have a problem with female casts, which is like in some fictions you don't even notice it because the story is so good, such as Annihilation, like all female cast. No one ever notices or mentions it because the story just whisks you away, and each one of the characters is full and flush, and you're just in the story. And I felt that here. Like I went in here all distrustful, like guns drawn, and I leaped onto Ahsoka's ship and like saying, "Freeze, you freaking posers!" And then they're like, "Hey Keith," I'm like, "Huh? Wait, it is you!" Like I did really feel that was Sabine. With Ahsoka, I'm feeling it actually. Like I know that she is stone, but she's lived through so much. She has seen so much loss. Like this is post like finally Anakin Skywalker's dead, and like yeah, I can see her getting to this point. So the only person that I questioned was Hera. She's close. Like Hera is like hugely important to me. Like she's near Luke Skywalker levels of like beloved. She's a kind, great leader, and a great pilot, and she's my favorite character on Rebels. So it's hard to match.
Right, and I kind of got that vibe from Mary Elizabeth Winstead's performance. Like, they can tell she's trying to be Hera, but she doesn't have the same charisma that Hera had in the cartoon, in the animation.
I appreciate how humble it seems Mary Elizabeth Winstead is about, like, because like I thought she was like gonna stomp on in, girl boss it, like I'm Hera and you guys go like it or else or whatever. Like, but instead she seems to. I enjoyed that. I saw that she's fully aware that there are people who love this character and they just want her to bring it to life, and she is trying. So I appreciate it. It's just like that's a tough act to follow.
True.
Well, sorry, let's finish that. But I'm kind of curious, like poke and prod. So my experience is like I'm not full Rebels and Clone Wars. You know, I haven't seen it all. I'm kind of like when something big was going in Clone Wars, and then I would like watch clips or like full episodes on YouTube when I wanted to, like, ooh, Darth Vader's back, or ooh, whatchamacallit, Darth Maul has a brother, Savage Press. Ooh, Darth Maul's back. Ooh, that's a really good vocal performance. Ooh, shit. Ooh, this scene where Ahsoka and Anakin are completing. Oh, this is fire. This is great. Ooh, the Bendu, he's really cool. Ooh,
you just pop it at special moments, like when like you see like the buzz.
When the buzz would come up, I would see the context clips, but I wouldn't do the greater work. Ooh, whatchamacallit? What's her name? Sabine. Sabine, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
Sabine.
Sabine's got the dark saber. Ooh, the dark saber is cool. So I would like pop in when like when like the buzz moments would like kind of like reach a wider frame of nerddom. So I guess that's where like out of all the like Disney shows, I feel like this one justifies the mostly female cast more so than any of there's others because they put in the work to build up these characters. They put in the work to get the engagement for these characters, which is, I guess, kind of why I'm scratching my head. Like, was there a point where they ever implied that like Sabine was force sensitive or she was going to be Ahsoka's Padawan?
The only tiny hint of that is that like you in the current canon, you have to have like some kind of force sensitivity to affect the use of a lightsaber. And like the dark crystal is a kyber crystal, right?
What?
Yeah, to be able to use it. Wait, hold on, slow down. To be able to properly use it successfully in combat.
Okay, I get that. You could still turn it on.
Yes, yeah, you can definitely turn it on. Like
right,
we saw Han Solo do it.
They actually started touching on this a little bit even in Rebels because you remember when Sabine was the one that found the Darksaber in the Night Sisters' fortress on Dathomir, and she's the one who brought it back. And then Kanan and Ezra were teaching her how to wield it, and Kanan was trying to teach her that she has to connect with the blade and open herself up. But he even made a sideways comment that Sabine was so caught up in herself and her life that she was partially blocked from connecting with the Force and understanding that connection so that she could properly wield the Darksaber. And that was part of that arc when the Darksaber showed up in Rebels, was her opening up to herself, let alone to the Force, and then turn into this whole big character arc, let alone, being Force sensitive. So and like it expands further into that whole thread that, forgive me for saying this, they just started touching on in The Last Jedi, is that anyone can be a Jedi, or can be connected to the Force, and can.
I'm going to push back on that because that's always been a thing, always, not Last Jedi. Ugh.
Well, they punched it harder in Last Jedi. They tried to make it a bigger point in Last Jedi.
Well, since we have the screen, could we go to a new tab and then just type in, is Sabine Wren Force sensitive?
Not outright. And even Hun Yang in episode 2 of Ahsoka here, he was talking about how she's...
At least not in the way Jedi are.
All right. So there's something there, because like I guess that's my biggest. I guess we're supposed to assume in like the timeline of the original trilogy where like the rebels are doing their shit because it's still the series ends before the beginning of A New Hope, right?
So like here,
Rebels
like,
yes.
I love me some Star Wars. I played like the games and I've read like the books from the tabletop RPGs, and part of it is like everyone has a connection to the Force, and like. It's possible, depending on your spirit, your soul, that you can have a strong connection. So that since Sabine has a great soul and is a warrior, therefore the Force within her can connect to her the kyber crystal, so she can effectively use it and she can be trained at all. But like if she was truly like Jedi Force sensitive, then she could do it even better and probably walk a different path. But this is what she is, and therefore like since there's very few of them. That would make, and like you find one person at all who tapped into it even a little bit to wield the saber, would make it so that Ahsoka would see her as an apprentice.
I guess my big issue is like I wish there was a comic or like a one-stop special to like give us this like Ahsoka Sabine Jedi Padawan apprentice arc as opposed to like acting like it's like this incredible.
Her being an exact apprentice has never happened I don't think it ever happened in the fiction that we saw, right?
It wasn't in Rebels, but I get the feeling that the next 6 episodes are going to have a lot of flashbacks because there's a lot of backstory missing about Ahsoka from the time that Ezra saved her from being killed by Vader on Malachor when he yanked her through the portal in the World Between Worlds, which was another Dave Filoni device that I just so love.
Just before Vader almost stopped himself from killing her.
You can convince yourself all you want, buddy.
I will.
But that was the look of death on his partially exposed face. But anyway,
all right.
Anyway, Yeah, I get the feeling there's going to be a lot of flashbacks because they're going to explain. I get the feeling they're going to get into a little bit of what happened to Ahsoka after she tried to get off Malcor and whatever she was doing during the rebellion, and her hooking up with Sabine and Hera again and that whole crew, and taking on Sabine as a Padawan and getting all that. Yeah, because we definitely know there's going to be a flashback of Ahsoka with Anakin back during the Clone War days.
I wonder if it'll be on the same set at the same time.
As far from what I've heard, there's going to be a younger actress cast to play the younger Ahsoka for those flashbacks. It's not going to be Rosario.
That makes sense.
But part of me still hopes that they bring Ashley Eckstein back in to play the younger Ahsoka because she is smaller in stature than Rosario Dawson, so she could probably get away with it. But because justice for Ashley. But,
while we never saw it in the fiction, to me it does make sense. Post Return of the Jedi, where they're trying to rebuild Jedi, Ahsoka definitely turned to Sabine for potential.
I think it was after the Rebels finale, and it was during the rebellion, the war against the Empire.
Okay, I would even say even then, that's definitely a time of need that she would type into that training. So it makes sense, but it was definitely not like the way it's implied in the show that this was like a season-long arc that we saw that we're continuing. This is like,
oh yeah, no, I figured it'd be like a one-episode flashback to this is when they originally tried the Padawan Master dynamic and why it failed horribly, and probably juxtapose it against Anakin and Ahsoka for how Anakin was teaching her and all that fun stuff.
Let's see. So, Isaac, it just completely missed it because like I said, I was ready to. I brought my hater pants. I was ready to wag my finger at it, and I was like, all female cast, huh? Well, I bet you guys hate. Oh wait, you're just doing it because it kind of even makes sense here because like in the Rebels, Sabine Wren is the only person in the cast that never really completed a fully realizing arc where like Ezra became like the true final hero. Ahsoka is the greatest arc we've ever seen. Kanan got his. Zeb is always meant to be support. So yeah, Sabine, it makes sense that she should be front and center for this arc.
It surprises me that you had your hater pants on, considering that you watched all of Rebels and Clone Wars like I did. And Dave Filoni, the guy who the front man for those two series was the front man for this, so I was kind of surprised that you're pre-hate for it.
You're right. Like I should have definitely. He hasn't missed with me yet, but like I think I've been so sour after like how the Mandalorian went down, and then like I'm still Last Jedi mad, and just like any tiny hint of them trying to sneak in, just so you know, the sequel's coming. Like that makes me hate it. So like I was worried, like what if there's so much influence I can't even recognize Sabine and Hera and Ahsoka. But
see, even Mando season 3, I'm kind of surprised you're down on it that much because a lot of season 3 of Mando fed a lot off of Rebels and Clone Wars. I mean, that was a lot of Filoni constructs that are flowing throughout that entire season.
I enjoyed it more than most. Like people are mad every second of that season, where I enjoyed like the space battles, and I enjoyed some of it. It's just that overall feeling of it felt like Jon Favreau was packing up his toys and leaving.
Yeah.
So it just didn't feel right. Like something was off. So I was like, is this going to carry over into Ahsoka? But like even like I'm enjoying the color palette. Even there's like
it's a much more varied color palette, which is very nice.
Yeah, it has to come from, since he's the cartoon guy. But yeah, the varied colored palette is just like I kind of had like this kind of like almost summer day feeling of playing with like Star Wars toys. It felt great.
I guess another thing that kind of like rubbed me the wrong way was that like scene where they're like doing the thing in Lothal. I mean, it's kind of nice that like, oh, we're gonna go to spend time in Lothal, the planet where we spend most of the time of Rebels. But like, I hated the whole sort of like where they're like, you know, we're doing Rebel Day and we're having fun, and then she like goes on the speeder bike and she's like, you know, she's such a rebel, she can't even take an easy publicity. She's gotta like run away.
Yeah. Like, I kept on waiting. I was watching. I was watching, like waiting for my moment to go. Okay, that's why she did that, and then it just never came. Like, it was really fake, 2-dimensional. She's so hip and cool. She can't be tied down to your
No.
rituals.
That's Disney Star Wars leaking through again because
Yes,
everything Lucasfilm has to have your main protagonist who's clearly clinically depressed and is fighting through some stuff in their own head that they just can't get past. So you gotta show them with their life just totally repressed and shambles or whatever, and somebody has to come swooping in and knocking them out of their head and just go, "Come on, we need you to help out and save the day." And okay, fine, shuffles feet, goes off.
yeah.
It's such a tired, dramatic dynamic that Disney and Lucasfilm has used, and I'm just tired of it. Just stop. You did it with Indy. You did it with most of the sequel trilogy. Just stop.
So
it also like what was my thought? The witch that they rescue from the two evil Jedi, maybe Sith. We're not quite sure yet. Why didn't she look like the witches of Dathomir? Like I don't know, pull that image up. They're like they've got these cool red outfits. They've got this like white face paint. They're very visually striking. Like I did really appreciate in Rebels and Clone Wars where like Dave Filoni took like these really big
here she is.
Swings.
But this is yeah. Okay, so hold on. We haven't found out yet. Like we've just gotten into this. Maybe by episode like 3, someone uppercuts her and she falls into a pool of water and she comes up and like all like that makeup is just skin makeup and she's like got the white stuff underneath and she's all Dathomired out. So maybe there's a reson.
Maybe so.
Or maybe this is not their natural look and maybe they're human underneath this.
Well, that's what I was trying to remember, and I didn't have time to look back. What happened? Because I thought Maul and his brother destroyed the Night Sisters on Dathomir.
Type of Night Sisters. The design is great. Like I would love to see that in live action.
Yeah, are they human?
It's like I want to see Asajj Ventress, but they kind of killed her, bastards.
Wait, when did Asajj Ventress die?
I read somewhere she died towards the end of the Clone Wars series, and I'm like, I don't remember that, and I'm always meant to go back and double check that, but
they're full-blooded humans.
I
guess they're painted up.
That's a good observation. I like in my headcanon, unless someone tells me otherwise. I like to think it was Force magic.
I always thought they. Yeah, I always thought they were different. I thought they were aliens this entire time. I didn't know they're human. All right.
Oh, okay. Well, there we go. So,
I just want like that cool design. These are like all like just a little. I guess all of these are like kind of red flags that like put me off of it because like I'm rooting for Dave Filoni. I love the idea that he's like finally got to step up to the plate and make the great live action ones. But they're just like all these like red flags that are making me like. Screaming out loud. And you see even like people who like there should be a mark for this kind of like rejecting it, like GameSpot, they every now and then do like major geek properties, and they were like 2 out of 10. And I was like, oh God, you guys should be loving this. This is like everything that you're supposed to be about. It seems like both of you had a much better experience as longtime Clone Wars and Rebels fans.
Yeah, that does sound like because like I asked my Facebook, like my friends, so how much are you bothered by not watching the cartoons? And everyone was like saying, nope, I'm in. They dug it, and the reason why I'm looking for Ahsoka's ship is like the interior. When that table comes up from the floor.
Yeah, I thought that was an odd feature.
It's practical. That's not a special effect. That's a practical effect.
Right. No, I was just thinking about the ship design. Like, okay, so you're going to waste space below for that being retracted to have cargo space. Okay.
To me, that's part of like Star Wars design that I love. Ugly things that piss me off. That's a thing. That's the thing I like doing if you have a dumb wing that doesn't do anything. It just like
swivels around randomly.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love that. Like, thank you. Like, it just goes vertical. Oh yes, exactly what I want. But inside the ship, like I was very like later we will have an interview with my buddy Josh Roth, who is the prop designer on Ahsoka, and I was really just blown away when he told me that the table coming up from the floor was a practical effect. Like the way it moved, the way it came up so cleanly, I thought it was CGI. So.
Yeah, it looks cool, but practically, like, what the hell? I mean, but
practically, if you're
Sorry,
Jedi, you have training space or meeting space.
Well, yeah, that's true. They do need the training space, don't they? It must have been an Ahsoka custom job. She must have taken it into Corellia to have it detailed and custom work done.
It's pre-Empire.
Tiny new rims.
It's pre-Empire, so she's had time to put some work into it. I love that ship. I love it so much.
I guess another sort of like thing that kind of bugged me is that like Sabine Wren is like so ingrained in Mandalorian, and we spent so much time with Mandalorians. I guess the reason why is like take the credit away from Ahsoka to have Din Djarin or Boba Fett come in and say hello, but like I'm more interested in like where Sabine stands within all the developments we've seen in Mandalorian culture than she is like a burgeoning Jedi apprentice.
I get the feeling they are going to stop by Mandalore because that's. I don't know if you guys looked at the map that they showed in the post credits or in the end credits. That's been dissected left, right, and everywhere in Reddit, and apparently a bunch of planets that were featured in Clone Wars and Rebels and other parts of Star Wars are on the path to this other galaxy that the Purgle whisked Thrawn and Ezra away. Mandalore is on the path between there and that galaxy out there. So
where's this on the timeline? Does this take place after season?
Supposedly, it's in parallel with Mando season 3.
Is it this map here?
Yeah. Somebody overlaid the names on top of it. Nice. Yeah. So a good amount of the path it looks like that they're going to be following to follow the path that the Purgle took Thrawn and Ezra back to this far galaxy, which my personal theory is that Thrawn and Ezra were whisked away to the home galaxy for the Purgle. And because if you remember the episode of Rebels that the Purgle first showed up, as just so you know, Isaac, this is Rebels background for you. Ezra had this connection through the Force to most of the animals in the galaxy, and that's how he was able to communicate with the Purgle when they first encountered them. And he found out that they were on a journey from that point that they first encountered them back to their home galaxy, and the Purgle are light speed capable animals. This is a Dave Filoni invention or device. This is what Rebels and Clone Wars was full of. That's why everybody getting their underwear in a twist about Ahsoka. I'm used to Dave Filoni's narrative style, so it doesn't bug me too much.
We've seen light speed animals in Star Wars before.
Live action?
Comic books.
Yeah. Not live action, the actual name for Star Wars that my anti-animation friends are all about.
Are you against light speed animals?
No, it's another Dave Filoni thing. It's just the kind of stuff that you have to expect when it comes to watching anything that Dave Filoni is involved with or writes. I mean, he comes up with these fun fantasy ideas that just make you go, but this is sci-fi, and you gotta suppress that sci-fi part of your brain watching this and go more.
Star Wars is sci-fi fantasy. You're definitely doing both. Like that, they're going to another galaxy.
But I mean, they swing so wildly back and forth. Sometimes it's hard sci-fi. Sometimes it's hard fantasy, and some people have a hard time finding that middle. My brain sadly kind of swings that way sometimes too, where it's like, oh, it's fantasy, it's fine. Oh, wait, no, there needs more sci-fi, and I can't explain my brain sometimes. But
yeah, so long as they don't start bringing up time dilation ever, I'm fine with it. Like,
that's why the world between worlds makes me a little twitchy, because I knew as soon as they brought that up in season 4 of Rebels and Ezra saw Ahsoka fighting Vader, like, no, don't do it. Don't reach for that portal. Don't say, oh, they saved Ahsoka.
I
know you don't think Vader would have killed her, but
no, he wouldn't have. I wasn't going to go there though.
Okay.
While Vader would never do that, I would say that I agree with you on it being a cheat, and because I'm so against Vader killing Ahsoka, I am completely open to this fakeness, this cheat, this nasty thing that they did. Like, I don't care. Like, they can cheat. Like, this is like me turning a blind eye because they cheated for something I wanted. But you're right.
You wanted Ahsoka back, right?
Yes. Yeah. Well, if she's going to go down, it's not going to be by accidentally Vader carrying through with his swing when he wouldn't have done that.
I don't know. I mean, it's the plot armor when it comes to anything Vader and the people he was closely associated with. Like the end of Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan should have fucking annihilated Vader when he had him pinned down. But no, walk away. No, I'm the bigger man now. I'm fine. I'll just let the obvious galactic threat survive. Like, give me a effing break. You had a do-over to finally finish him. Finish him.
Also, when it comes to Ahsoka's plot armor, is now through the goddamn roof. Like, there's meta going on with her, and also in-story stuff going on with her that make her pretty much indestructible for all time. Like,
but do you think she'll survive the end of her own series?
Yeah, I do. Because
she's totally going to. Yeah,
she has all these things.
Join the Star Wars Avengers and the Filoni movie where all the Disney TV shows come together.
I don't know.
Let me tell you all the stacks. All the stacks really quickly.
Okay.
Current Disney Star Wars, they want a woman to be the main, most important thing ever. And
calm down.
No, they do. They do, and it's fine. Like, I understand the point of view creativity comes from. Yeah, but it doesn't matter. Anyway, they do. Therefore, she is that. She's also beloved. She has a legit legacy. She has a great design. She has a design that's so good that she could be a logo herself. She's redesigned enough from her original form into the Disney form that if royalties is a thing on like original creations, they have remixed her enough so that they don't have to pay anything. So all that meta on top of that makes her unstoppable. Then in the story, I've been doing little research on what she's gone through, and do you guys remember she's kind of part goddess?
What? I forgot that part.
Yeah, like when they went to like that one world that had like the Force gods in it. Ahsoka legit completely died, and to get her life back, the goddess gave her life. And that owl that we see sometimes showing up with her is the owl of the goddess.
Oh, that's right, the owl. Yeah.
So, like, meta and in story, she is a freaking walking tank. She can't be destroyed. Like, yeah, like I said, she's so well designed, she could be a logo. So, expect her...
Until you find out that the only way she made it off Malachor, she had to sacrifice that Gauss part of her, and the owl sacrificed itself so that she could escape Malachor and get off and resume being Fulcrum for the rebellion.
Well, here's the other problem that I noticed in Galaxy's Edge. Like, and the thing that's kind of ruined Star Wars is everything in the story moves toward the final form of a product that can sell forever. So, like, you have the Mandalorian Grogu. Like, a good story for them would have been for them to be separated, for Din to keep growing and change into whatever he's going to be, and Grogu to grow with Luke Skywalker. But you want to sell them toys, and merchandise, and they are together in those merchandise, so that you have to undo good story. Like, you can't complete things, so you cannot kill Ahsoka.
That's a good point. That did kind of annoy me.
Yeah.
Well, can we just...
Schooling me about me just saying she's a female. God, I wouldn't stop it there, guys. I wouldn't stop it.
But the Star Wars, most of the characters, Din Djarin isn't probably going to die. I'd say most of the leads, with the exception of Andor, all have pretty significant plot armor.
Yeah, I even thought the reason why they did Rogue One like they did is because they're it was I knew it was supposed to be an experiment to see can they make Star Wars without the original heroes? Can they? That's not connected to anything. And they proved they could, but they wanted to experiment that and then kill everybody off so we can stop being bothered for making toys with them ever again. But then, I think, out of all the Star Wars, Rogue One is the only one that everybody goes, that one was pretty good, except for me. I'll say it wasn't that bad, but since it was the only good one, they're still pulling Andor back into it. But they wanted to cut that universe off.
I think they did say in the Andor or like the showrunner Tony Gilroy did say that like the second Andor is only going to be like 2 seasons, and the second season is going to lead up to like right to the beginning of Rogue One, if I'm correct, right?
Yep, that's the
I
plan.
can see it. Like all of them are legit actors and creators, so like, they don't want us to get locked down into Star Wars, like how actors are trying to get away from Marvel.
Though the true heroes of Andor are the writers. Let's be honest.
True that. Oh, and the actors, man, they.
Oh yeah, they're great, but no, that's the thing about Andor is the writing in that show is so thorough and well thought out. I mean, DJ did make the point when we were during the Star Wars episode we did that it didn't really have a satisfying finale, but that's because it's going to have another season. So, but you're not sitting there and it's like poking holes and making fun of it like we do with all these other Disney Star Wars series. Like, why did they do this? Why did that? Who the hell thought that was a good idea? I mean, Andor, you can barely say that.
Okay, going back, like we're trying to be quick about this. We're going to stay focused.
Right.
Do you have anything that you want to finish up saying about Andor, though? I cut you off. I apologize.
You mean Ahsoka or Andor?
Andor. No,
I'll go with Andor because I cut him off. And all right, and then for Ahsoka, the last question I have would be until we do final thoughts and close this up is, what do you think it's trying to do, and do you think it's doing well? I'll go first so you guys can think about it. And I'm mostly curious about Isaac because, like, man, you freaking stomped this thing out like it had no redeeming qualities. All right.
I don't want to seem like I'm mean. Like I'm rooting for everything this show is like trying to do, but like it just like out of the gate, it did not impress me.
Yeah, because it does sound like. Am I right that like how much? Because it has so much goodwill for me because of Clone Wars and Rebels.
I think it's completely earned that, and So I hope it delivers on what you think it will be. But like as someone who's like appreciative of that goodwill and seen the good material and thinks it's good, I felt let down. But sorry, what was your original question though?
Okay, what do you think it's trying to do, and how well do you think it's doing it? So I'm gonna go first. So what I think what it was trying to do is that it's trying to reboot excitement for Star Wars again, and that it's doing for me everything that I wanted them to do from the start, which is don't redo stories again, show me what else and who else is in this world, and I feel it's doing a good job of like not being A New Hope again. It's not copying who we thought Boba Fett was going to be, like with what we did with The Mandalorian. Like, I really feel good in here where everything's I have now stepped off a spaceship into Star Wars onto a Tuesday, and this is what's kind of finally unfolding in this world. And I'm enjoying it. I think to me, so far they're being successful. My only gripe is please, like, Star Wars is the place I go for post-racial, post-sexism. Like, as a kid, when we used to play RPGs, like there was discussion and me being a little upset that like anytime we're in like a Earth medieval setting, I can't play a character that looks like me. Star Wars, there's no excuse. Everything's clean. So boys and girls should be able to play together. That's all I want. So please give me some good boy heroes in this show. That's my only gripe. All right. Isaac, are you ready? Do you want to jump in this? Right.
So I think the show's has this weird middle ground between Dave Filoni trying to set up to George Lucas's shows while also giving Kathleen Kennedy her dream show. I think on one level this is the Star Wars girl power hour, but like I said with the Barbie movie, I think it's more warranted here than something like The Mandalorian or other things that we've seen. But like something's not clicking. Things just feel off for me. I don't know if it's like interference with Dave Filoni not being able to do 100% what he does. I don't know if it's just like something is not quite clicking between the acting and directing, and it just sort of feels off. So I don't think it's hitting the two things it needs to do.
Can you say really quickly, like, do you have an example of like what's not clicking? between?
The performances, I think that's the big thing that they like. I thought Dave Filoni, I've seen him do better directing, and the characters just feel much stiffer. Even Rosario Dawson feels stiffer than she was in Book of Boba Fett and her one episode of Ahsoka in Mandalorian season 2, where it doesn't seem like she's just drive. She seems like much more serious than I would expect for like the Gray Jedi, who's kind of like tossed aside the no emotion shackles of the Jedi training. And also like little things like I hate the fact that we're like doing a MacGuffin hunt. I don't know why. Thrawn is not a mystical character. He shouldn't have Indiana Jones map from Evil Night Sisters to go find him.
Great.
I think if he's working with Imperials, they should just know where he is. I think that's really stupid.
I think we are in cheesy pulp science fiction, like that. In Indiana Jones type space stuff, you use MacGuffins,
right? But that's why one thing for any of the non-animation watchers, I did recommend that they at least watch the Rebels series finale when Thrawn and Ezra were whisked away in the Chimera by the Purrgil to wherever the hell they were going. Because it gives you a little bit of a taste of Dave Filoni's Rebel storytelling style, which as I pointed out before, is kind of important to understanding how this whole jumbled mess works. Having an idea why they're looking for Thrawn and Ezra. Now, the one thing that did annoy me is that they all, for some reason, Hera and the rest of the rebellion, the New Republic, thought that Ezra and Thrawn were dead. At no point in the Rebels finale did they make it seem like they were dead. They were just whisked away by the Purrgil. So just the passage of time doesn't mean they're dead. That kind of annoyed me when they had Hera say that. But
remind me, was Thrawn in The Mandalorian season 3 where they had that Imperial Council?
No.
They referenced him, but he was not there.
Okay, it's so weird that like, because like I feel like Thrawn is like military, Star Wars versus like fantasy Star Wars. So to like, I might have to rewatch that ending. Now I'm kind of curious to see the end of Thrawn and him, sent off to space exile for the Purrgil. But I just find the whole setup kind of weird for that kind of character who should be all about military and tactics and more space-laced military science fiction versus fantasy science fiction.
I do agree on like making sense basis. Yes, but fantasy adventure, we got to have some MacGuffins, and also the biggest problem with Thrawn is like even in the books, like they had to stoop to bad writing to beat him. Like they made him so good that the writing around him gets to be a little iffy to make sense because he's way too smart.
So you didn't like how he was undermined and ultimately defeated in the end of the Thrawn trilogy?
I did not. Reading it, I was like, that's it. Like he wouldn't have twitch. Anyway,
I thought Zahn set that up pretty well, but that was just me. But anyway.
No, yeah. I wouldn't. It's debatable. He's really smart, and I think his intelligence creates bad writing around him. So wait. So are we, Isaac? Are you finished with like what you feel it's trying to do versus what?
Yeah, I feel like it's trying to set off the ultimate. I feel like it's trying to Dave Filoni trying to live out his dream of becoming the George Lucas chair while also keeping Kathleen Kennedy happy. And I feel like he is not exactly that. He is not quite like hitting the stride yet. I guess we'll get into the final. Like, what do we think this will mean for the legacy of Star Wars and going forward? But I guess MJ, what do you think the show is trying to do?
I think it's Dave Filoni trying to do the follow-up to Rebels that he always wanted to do, because you could kind of tell from the end of the Rebels series that was too many threads left hanging to just let sit there. That at some point he's going to come back to it, and I'm kind of happy for him that he's able to come back to it. I do kind of see how you're looking at the Kathleen Kennedy-isms are leaking in, like showing that the New Republic is such a freaking mess, and the remnants of the Empire are going to start recongealing and become a galactic threat, and ultimately become the First Order. And oh my god! And sequel trilogy puke. But I don't know. I mean, just going forward, it's going to be the continuing education of Ahsoka Tano. They're going to be featuring Sabine more as the forefront character, because, like Keith pointed out, she never really got much of a conclusive finale to her arc in Rebels, and it'd be nice to see her get that. And, you know, everybody see what's going to happen with Thrawn, if they're going to actually keep going with Thrawn from here, and, you know, satisfy all the Legends fans out there who are like, you can't do that to Thrawn, we want to see more Thrawn. So, I don't know, and I get the, like I said before, I think it's gonna be very flashback heavy for a few episodes there, talking about some of the stuff that happened during the rebellion for Ahsoka and Sabine and everybody on the way to where we're at now in the series. And I don't know, I hope it doesn't. I hope Filoni gets the win out and the Kathleen Kennedy-isms don't win out at the very end. But
do you think it's succeeding in what it's trying to do?
It's a good setup. It's a very Filoni. It's definitely leaning more towards the Filoni side right now for the setup for where they're going to go from here. But like I say, hopefully the Kathleen Kennedy-isms don't win out at the end. And I still get the hard feeling that Ahsoka won't survive the series, and they're going to be setting up Sabine to be the carrier of the torch for her, and there's going to be some background of, you know, I don't know. I can only speculate about what they're ever going to do with Sabine after the series, but I just have to wonder if Ahsoka will actually survive the series.
Positive, like that. She's money on the table. They can't say no. They can never say no, especially for the strong female character. All right, Then final thoughts. We ready for this?
Sure.
You already got any notes that we should be touching on before we do this?
One final note. That whole Captain Hoyle letting the Jedi on because he was calling their bluff at the beginning.
Yeah.
I hate it when Dave writes stupid shit like that. That was so stupid. But the fun part of that was, do you know who played the captain?
Yes, Drake from Aliens.
Yep, Mark Rolston. That was Private Drake himself.
Or what I call him is Marines. That's a quick Aliens joke. So like there's like a part in Aliens where Hicks goes, Marines, we are leaving. That many fans have thought that was what the line was for many years, but it was Drake, we are leaving. So that's why I called the guy in the chair Marines, not Drake. Because anyway, I hope that made sense.
The joke that keeps going.
Marine. Yeah, it was good seeing Drake. That was really cool.
And if they use the map as a MacGuffin trick one more time, I'm going to punch J.J. Abrams directly in the face because goddamn him for introducing it. I was so sick of it. Enough already. And sorry, this is the quick gripes section. Ahsoka was smart enough to figure out how to open the crypt and bring the map up out of the floor, but she couldn't figure out how to decipher and open up the map itself in space.
She couldn't do a Rubik's Cube.
What?
Because the ruins took the mind of a Jedi to do versus the
mind of an artist.
Exactly, the mind of an artist. Thank you.
To fix the Rubik's Cube.
Yes.
I just hope Filoni doesn't write it in so Ahsoka later on goes, see, that's why I didn't figure out the puzzle, because I wanted you to, because the Force was telling me we were supposed to be back together. Or some weird shit like that. No, don't do it, Dave. Don't do it.
I like meek, dangerous, emo chick. She is hot, and she is awesome. And
listening to Space Punk.
Huh?
Oh, that whole Space Punk track she was listening to when she was on her speeder racing away from the city in Lothal.
That would be Sabine, not...
Oh.
Are you looking at the screen?
Wait, who's the emo chick? The apprentice.
No, the North's apprentice.
Yes. Yeah. I like her stance. I like her kind of like her like little like stoop that she does, and she kind of seems to always be shaking. And then like there's like I like certain tiny moves that people make in fighting, and I'm not sure if like, do you guys care about that when you like watch your martial arts, like tiny moves they make?
Yeah, I did notice the form. I did notice how well formed a lot of the lightsaber battles were. I mean, even the stances that Ahsoka was taking in the fights that she was doing, like, damn,
Her
that's straight up. Yeah,
the first strike she does when she attacks, when she's like just sprinting forward, she kind of crisscrosses her arms in front of her face and ignites her lightsaber. This is the coolest thing I've seen in a long time. So yeah, I enjoy her. She's quite the fun character, and I expect her to be cosplayed a lot. All right.
well, that and apparently her name was Shin, and then Balin Skull and Shin are actually names of creatures from Norse mythology.
Shin Haiti.
I didn't see what her last name was, but her name is Shin.
Yeah, it's right there on the screen, and it's a weird last name. But Shin is a good first name. Has a good first Star Wars name.
Yeah, but apparently Shin and Skull are names of mythical creatures from Norse mythology, and
that's right.
A lot of the characters that you see on that map in the end credits that are attributed to whatever the faraway civilization that built that map point on Seastos came from. A lot of those are Norse runes, or look like Norse runes. So I'm kind of wondering what the Norse mythology angle is going to be on this moving forward. If like Skull and Shin are from a Norse mythological planet, and they're a whole sect of Force wielders that are kind of creeping in on the side that splintered off from the Jedi after the Jedi fell.
Yeah, Dave Filoni does love his wolves.
Oh, yep. That part too. Yep.
Right down to his character's name of Trapper Wolf. All right, final thoughts?
Yep, let's do it.
All right, who wants to go first?
MJ, final thoughts.
Final thoughts. I like what's stubbed here to start. I'm hoping they don't belly flop towards the end like they Star Wars Disney series have a tendency to do. But I'm hoping Dave wins out over the Kathleen Kennedyisms, and the last 6 episodes that we're going to see over the next 6 weeks are worth a damn.
Oh shoot! One other thing, we didn't make notice, and like I barely noticed that he was a mystery while he was happening for some reason. But the attack of Mara, you guys know this? Do you guys know that this guy's a mystery?
Yeah, because he is masked, so you don't know who it is.
Yeah, I just
he's wielding an Inquisitor's lightsaber.
Yeah, for some reason I just figured he was a 2-hit point ninja. But like, yeah, the big thing is they feel it's going to be Sam Witwer
playing a new character, but like, isn't like Starkiller not a canon character? I thought he was like decanonized.
So let's see, Sam Witwer, his name is in the credits apparently, and then also Starkiller's real name is Marik.
Oh. All right, that'd be like a big mea culpa to the fans if they like figure out some way to reincorporate him like Thrawn, something from Legends. And all right, so I'm kind of curious to see what they do with that.
I think Sam might have made a good grown up Ezra. Now that, the girl power, they're doing this so Ezra doesn't get to matter. I wonder if we get to see him. But I'm one of the few people who did actually love Ezra. I loved what a doofy character he was to build up into the hero that he became. I have a weenie always, but I did like him, and it would have been cool to see him get to be like as equal as cool characters as everybody else, and see the Ghost crew get back together.
It was great to see him be less of a weenie after first season, that's for sure. Mm-hmm. But if they better show the Ghost pretty soon. I mean, there was a teeny little cameo by the Ghost when they were going on to the big mothership with the Ahsoka ship, but
can't wait.
Plus, Hera's son hasn't shown up yet either.
Yeah, that's right. Oh my god, yeah. But yeah, I don't know what's different about the special effects going on, but the spaceship, the way the spaceships look on screen has just been fantastic. God, I love this. Yeah, or love those ships. That has been a huge standout to me in the show.
Yeah, see, Disney, this show is worth $200 million, not Secret Invasion.
Yes, this I can see where the $200 million may have went, not sitting in someone's living room. There's no way.
All right.
All right.
Isaac, final
Yeah.
I'm a little less positive. I hope we get some flashback to justify the new status quo. I was
They
always
have
kind
to.
of annoyed.
Narratively, they have to.
Yeah, you need to sell it more than you have. I have a much higher barrier of entry. I don't think this bodes well for Star Wars as a whole. I feel like very soon we're going to be hearing articles about drop viewership, and then they're going to put it on free on Hulu or the
I'm
Disney
super
Channel
curious
or
about that.
ABC.
Yes. The ratings. Yeah. Sorry, I'll go next. Yeah, go. Keep going.
Sorry. I think we're going to start seeing that narrative. I don't think this is the savior of Star Wars. I hope it gets better and then it gets over the hump. I hope it's not my gut tells me I feel like when we see the end, it's gonna kind of be like Mandalorian season 3, where you can see the outlines of something good that was just kind of put together in the worst way possible. Because I still contend that on the surface level, Mandalorian had all the stuff for a Star Wars fan's wet dream of Din Djarin helping Bo-Katan reclaim her legacy and reform Mandalore and build a new Mandalorian civilization while he serves the Mad Max to her Furiosa. But it was just so haphazardly constructed. It didn't feel like they were working to an end goal, just kind of futzing around and stumbling on it by chance. You see it a lot in shonen anime. The difference between the really successful shonen anime and the ones that kind of sputter out of the gate and eventually get canceled in their manga form is you gotta kind of set up what's your goal and how is the character going to receive it. What do they want to do? What's the society that they're working for? What's the larger thing that you're going to introduce that gives the series legs? And it feels like the Mandalorian didn't set it out. It just sort of stumbled its way toward the, hey, we're getting Mandalore back. Oh, and, at the last hour they the Imperial remnants. Guess what? They took over Mandalore versus setting it up from the very beginning. The Imperials are on Mandalore. Gus Fring is on Mandalore. Oh shit, he's building something. That would have been much more effective. And that's what I'm afraid Ahsoka's going to be like. It's going to be holy shit, there's this incredible story of going to the world beyond worlds, fighting Sith, and Ahsoka is a great Jedi, navigating the new legacy of force wielding and whatnot. But then it'll just be haphazard and feel time wasty, and we'll get an episode that spends an hour on some character we've never met before. So I'm worried. I'm glad to hear that you found enjoyment, that you're going to get $200 million live action sequel to Rebels and Clone Wars. Because on paper, Ahsoka should be the best thing ever. This is a character who's had an arc over the course of 20 years. It's been paid off to in spades. People have grown up with the character. She's if there's anyone who's deserving of a girl boss power hour, it's this character. So I hope Rosario Dawson, whatever's not clicking, clicks in the next few episodes.
Right. All right. So let's see. My final thoughts. Let's see. So far, I'm good. I think we won't have to worry. We won't have to worry too much about Kathleen Kennedy interference that ruins shows, because out of the gate, it's kind of set up how she wants things to be. So instead of we really just wanted to have a really good Obi-Wan Kenobi show, but they couldn't let that. They just couldn't let that happen, especially Obi-Wan Luke Skywalker. So Kathleen Kennedy has to come and go, oh yeah, sure, you can have Obi-Wan, but we need to have this Reva character too. And instead of Luke, we use Leia. Okay, fine. And then it ruins everything. And then
of course they have to gank the coolest shot in Obi-Wan from the duel between Ahsoka and Vader. Yeah.
Oof, yeah. And then okay, and then what other things did they mess up? Oh, Mandalorian. We're having a great time, and they're like, yeah. Could you make a woman though be the Mandalorian instead? And then season 3 happens. They start moving things around. But here, naturally, we have only female characters. You can't have to force anything. You don't have to change anything. we just already have all the characters she wants to have, and then Dave Filoni gets to do his work that he does. And I think that means we're going to have a good show, and then hopefully she'll be gone by season 2, and we can have a better show. But yeah, that's
It's funny you
that's
think
what
it's gonna have a second season.
So I do worry about the ratings. Like I think it's great, but like we've discussed, I think it might have my point of view is skewed so hard because I love these characters so much that to me, my biased view says that when you look at it, it looks like it could be new characters, and you should be able to pick up from right here. And the colors are beautiful, so that it should bring in a bunch of people. But I can see a casual person going, "Who fuck is Ahsoka?" Never mind, and then just like not watching it. But
The vibe I'm getting from that series is this is going to be a one and done season, because this is kind of like Picard season 3 to the first 4 seasons of Rebels for Filoni. This is just him wanting to give the characters from Rebels the true last voyage home ending that he wasn't able to do with the animation. I think he just intentionally stubbed the end of the animated series in case, whatever Kennedy Star Wars wanted to deal with it. And now he's just like, no, okay, maybe I should just finish this up before things really go haywire.
I see these as the new flagship characters. That's what I think that their intention is. Like, and that's what like I said, it's hard to see from here because
It's too early to tell.
Rosario Dawson, Ahsoka, how could it miss, guys? So if it's the fantasy that I think, then we get at least 4 seasons of these characters, and
You're not getting that. The best you're going to get is this all feels like it's being set up for the eventual TV verse crossover movie.
Yes, and I feel there's got at least one more season, but I feel at least maybe 2 before a movie.
You're not getting a second season. The way I think you'll get the movie, and then maybe if the ratings are good, you'll get a second season.
You don't think I'll get a second season called Sabine Wren?
No.
All right.
Star Wars Ahsoka Sabine Wren.
Yeah, something like I said, like what I see on the screen looks very so fully formed that they wouldn't spend this much money and effort on just one season. And they also don't have much else. Like they from here they can continue with Mandalorian. They got one more season of Andor. They got they got other stuff. They got Stranger Things.
Yeah, the Acolytes. We've got the Origin of the Jedi movie. We've got the Rey movie.
Oh, Skeleton Crew. That's still out there too.
I suspect those. I don't. The Rey movie and the Origin of the Jedi movie. I highly question if those are going to happen.
I think you've every good reason to be doubtful about whether or not those will ever hit the screen.
All right.
Skeleton Crew's already filmed though, right?
Yeah,
mostly.
Crew's happening. Yeah. All right.
Plus, we don't know what's going to survive the Iger apocalypse and what's going to come out on the other side of the strikes. So,
and if like all these rumors of Kathleen Kennedy moving out of LA and all that other stuff is true, please. Anyway, all right. I think that's it. Did anything else we need to cover?
No, I think that pretty much covers it for our first 2 episodes. We'll just see where the next 6 go.
Rock on. MJ, where can we find more of you on the internet?
You can hear more of my mindless drivel on all the socials as MJ3342. That's EMJAY3342.
Your drivel is mindful, okay? Very, very mindful.
Depends on what day you catch me.
Isaac, where can we find more of you and your work on the internet?
You can find me at Lobster Magnet Reviews. Check out all my long video essays. That's my main hub.
Right on. And you can find me at Keith Hayward on Twitter, at Keith Justice on Instagram, and you can find this podcast and more on popgeeks.com. Our intro and outro are done by the Starcadian, and thank you to Brian Klein of Brian, quote unquote, Sonic Clank Klein, for doing our episodes. He just did a documentary on Doom, So look up Sonic Cling and Doom, and you should be able to find it. And or shoot, I should be able to just bring it up on the screen real quickly, so you can see it. Sonic Clang, Doom, bam, and of course, this is not what it is. Thank you, Brian, for everything you've done for me. And thank you for listening. We'll be back with something else, and we're out of here. Thank you for listening. Take care.
Geek out.
Geek out.